What's going on, you guys? It's Dito D. What you guys been up to, man? I've been watching movies. I watched some cold movies, man. Getting closer to Halloween and all that. Been watching the horror stuff, and the horror scene is popping. And right now, one of the movies that's pretty high on my list was this year's VHS. You know, the VHS series. So this year they did VHS Halloween. This will be the eighth movie in the series. VHS 8. I was impressed. I was very impressed with the movie. Now, usually, I like to try to dance around with the movies about and all that. I don't want to give too many spoilers and stuff, but the movie's been out for a while, a few weeks now. And I hope you've seen it. So closer to the end of the video, I'm probably going to get into some spoilers. But I do want to say that out of the 8 movies, and I did a series on this before VHS, when I talked about the movies, and I really, what Shudder has been doing with the VHS movies, I think has been impressive. When I first seen VHS 94, I didn't think it was all that great. I gave it another run and I liked it. I liked it. I didn't think it was great, but I liked it. And then 99, I liked that one. Now 85, I thought that was great. I thought 85 was great. I thought Beyond was more of a sci-fi spin, but I have watched Beyond again more recently, and I like that one too. So I was impressed with what Magnet was doing with the series. I really like the first two. I still think those are the best. Um, a lot of people didn't like Viral, but there were things that I liked about Viral. I liked the skateboarders, but I just like that crazy story about them going down to Mexico and dealing with what they had to deal with. But coming back to VHS Halloween, boy, hey man, they went all the way. They went all out, you know? And in the first VHS movie, they did a segment about haunted house. And I thought that was great. And I always said, they should do because they've done movies based on some of these shorts in this series. And I thought they should do one based on that. And it seems like this year they went with the Halloween theme, and a lot of it had to do with trick or treating and stuff and going to crazy houses. And boy, they came through. Some of the stuff that they did, it made me look at the things that you use for Halloween decorations, made me look at that a little different, you know. Made me look at trick or treating a little different. I thought it was great, man. VHS Halloween, this year's VHS movie, they did great work. They did great work. So you got about, I think there's 5 or 6 stories, and then you have the wraparound story, which is about some people. some, so we're gonna get into it now. All right. So you got the story about it's the scientists. They made a soda and they running a test. They got people coming in and testing the soda out, right? Well, they put it's kind of like the trap on Ghostbusters. They got the trap, right, with the ghosts in it, right? So they putting spirits, phantasms in the sodas, and then having people come and test them out. So then we go to our first story. And the first story has got these 2 girls. They like 2 little feminist girls. And because they say all the things. So you'll see it when you hear it when you see the movie. But they got them and they go to this, they go trick or treating. They're older girls. So, they probably feel like, I'm sure they know they probably don't belong out trick or treating. But they do it anyway and run amok. And then they come across this house that they missed, right? And they're like, oh, how we missed this house? Let's go over here. Man, this house was disgusting. Okay? And what was in the house was, what was waiting for them in the house was just as disgusting as the house. Like outside the house, it looked like a regular house. But once you walk in, it was nasty, And I guess it was supposed to look like a haunted house, and that's what they thought they were in. But it ended up being more haunted than they were ready for. Uh, Not as bad as later on, though, because these stories progressively got worse. That was the thing about this one. This movie, like each segment was like, okay, that was bad, right? All right, check this out. So then you go back to the sodas, right? You get the sodas again. And then the next story. What was the next story? I'm thinking it was the one about. I may be wrong. So it might be out of order. But the next story I think was about, again, some trick-or-treaters. And they went to this house. And, the bowl says, take one. That's what you're supposed to do. People be overdoing it. People put out the bowl of candy on Halloween. It says, take one. They want to dump the whole bowl in their bag. Selfish. Inconsiderate. So, anybody in this story who took more than one, they got a lesson. I mean, the thing is, when you get a lesson, I thought you supposed to you get a lesson and you live with that and be like, oh, this is why I shouldn't do it. But these people don't get the chance to do that. They go somewhere, and how they get there was amazing. All right, it was very simple, but it was amazing. And they got there and they couldn't get out. It was all bad, bro. I'm telling you, it was dark, and they should have just took one. You should just took one. Then you had another story, right? I know I'm missing one. I'm missing one of the stories. They had a story about some kids that got done pretty wrong, and you'll see that. My favorite story would probably have to be the haunted house. Once again, the haunted house. The haunted house, they saved the best for last as far as I'm concerned. It was the last story. And boy, I mean, like I'm saying, when I told you I look at certain decorations differently now, that's why. That story is why. And whoever did that, they did great work. I don't know who the director was on that one. They did great work. I loved the cast. I loved everything about it. They went the extra mile. Like I told you, there was a story about some kids, and then a few kids in this one, it was all bad. And that was a thing too. They kept using the kids. It was like, hey, come on and be in this movie, And the kids they were happy to be in the movie. You could tell they loved it. And but the characters wasn't having no fun, and that was interesting to watch. But it was a great Halloween movie. It was a great VHS movie. I feel like I can't say enough about it, and I'm missing a story. One of the stories I'm not recalling it right now, but the movie's very impressive. If you're a fan of the VHS series, I think you absolutely need to watch this one by Halloween, okay? Or on Halloween, because you deserve it. You owe it to yourself. Trust me. If you felt like some of the other ones were lighter, you didn't like them as much since some of the earlier movies, because you're a fan that's been watching the whole time, you gotta watch Halloween. Okay, you gotta watch VHS Halloween. They did it right this time. I really think they did, and I'm gonna go ahead and give them a nice solid 7.75. Okay. All right. I thought it was good, man. It wasn't as strong as the first two movies, because the first two, they really set the stage. They really set the bar. But I think this one came close. I really loved 85. I thought 85 was good. The 85 and VHS Halloween, this movie was great. Okay. I had a blast. I've watched it a couple times now. And like I said, if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Even if you're just a horror fan, you're not familiar with the VHS series, you don't have to watch all 8. Just watch this one and then go back and watch the other 7. Because just watch this one. It was awesome. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope you get a chance to check out the movie and enjoy it. Let me know what you think if you have seen it. And I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for sticking around. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.